Hello everyone, my name is Resonant of course, and welcome back to another video. Now, so we've had multiple showings of Mount & Blade Bannerlord and its features and gameplay, on which I have done in-depth analysis and speculation. But today, I'll be going over a more general video. Over the past year, many Mount & Blade fans have had a number of requests and things they would love to see in Bannerlord. Tailworlds have taken some of these into account, and some of them, I'm not even sure Tailworlds know about yet. So, what are the most requested features of Mount & Blade Bannerlord? Thank you to Lauer, who was one of my community moderators who helped me come up with some of these ideas. Just before I start, if you disagree with any of these things or have any more ideas to add, please leave a comment. I would love to see your thoughts. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the top 10 most requested features of Mount & Blade Bannerlord. More advanced combat and ordering troop mechanics. Now, in Warband, many of you know, you have the basic troop mechanics, where you can order them to hold position, they can follow you, they can charge, or you can do different things, put them in different lines, different rows, spread them out, and put them close together, or just get them to full out, scream, and charge into the enemy. You can get them to go to different places on the battlefield, but that's about it for ordering troops. Now, what would we like to see in Bannerlord? A lot of you have said you want to see more in-depth ordering troops mechanics. So things like different formations, splitting off troops, splitting off one unit so you can get different units to do flanking maneuvers. You can do different maneuvers, different tactics, and different ways of winning battles in itself. In that category with the more advanced combat. Now in the Mount & Blade Warband combat we have the 4 directional blocks. We have up, down, left and right. These coincide with which way the attacker is going to you at. What we'd like to see in Bannerlord is more advanced things, I think. So we'd like to see some parrying. Obviously, a lot of you know blocking is where you hold a block and then they chop down on it. That wasn't really how they used to fight in the medieval ages. They used to parry more. So when someone comes down for a block, you swipe their sword to the side, so they are now open and vulnerable to attack. More advanced things would be really cool in Mount & Blade Bannerlord. There's also been a few mods such as Sands of Faith, where you can do shield bashing. Now, shield bashing is such a small little mechanic, but it makes such a massive difference in battle. This is where when you're holding your shield up, you can use it to beat back the enemy, to maybe even stun them or knock them off their feet. Then they are vulnerable to your attacks. This would be a really cool little mechanic to add in and would make more advanced combat. This would also be quite a good thing to back up the kicking, as kicking does something similar, but it does leave you vulnerable to other attacks. Improved AI. Now, a lot of you have said Warband AI is just not really that good, and you'd be right in saying that. Everyone loves the Warband AI, but not because it's good, just because it's funny. It has its own little charm, and it gives you the nostalgia, and you're like, this is definitely a Mount & Blade game. But I think it's come to the time where we want to see more improved AI. We've seen in the gameplay trailers there have been a few hiccups with the AI. Go back and watch my analysis videos if you want to have a look at them. I do point out a few hiccups. For going through doors and climbing up ladders, there have been a few glitches in the AI that we have seen so far in Bannerlord. And I think it would be really good if they decided to improve these, and basically just the AI in general. Ordering around in battle, we did see a long time ago in some gameplay where the AI put their troops on top of a hill and then charged down, giving them an advantage. This is a good sign, and it shows that Tailworlds is really working towards getting the AI as good as possible. But what else can they do with it? Can the AI do special formations? Can they try different maneuvers and flanking tactics? This will be something that I'd love to find out. But AI is something that definitely needs to be improved in Bannerlord, but it's looking in the right direction. Something going more in depth into the single player is more intelligent economy for the player and AI stakes. Now, economy in Warband works like this. You can go to places, you can buy things, you can trade things. There are mods that add in money lenders where you can get loans out. But overall, there isn't too much in-depth economy. You can loot and burn villages, get stuff, go and trade them with other places to get more money. But what else could they add into this? Could they add more trading with AI players? Could they add farmers that you could actually talk to really instead of just attacking them? Could they add more things where you go to a certain place and you get more money for, let's say, silk from there, and then at another place you get more money for wheat? Now, that was something that was slightly in Warband, but it wasn't really attached to the nation. let's say a Kyrgyz nation, you'd get more money for furs. That wasn't really a thing in Warband. It was more you just different places get random amounts of money from what you sell. I'd really like to see more intelligent economy for the player and AI, and the Bannerlord devs have said that the AI can block off your trade routes, they can go to castles, they can starve you out, which is a really cool thing, and it looks like this is a good way towards the AI getting more intelligent at their economy. More control over village and castle customization and advancement. A lot of you have said you really want this kind of thing, because in Warband we had, you can manage the garrison, and you can build stuff like watchtowers and things like that, but that's just a click of a button and it does it. It takes time, but it just does it. What we have said is we kind of want to see more customization in this aspect, where you decide what you want to build and you choose how and where you place things. So it's not just clicking a button, it is more in-depth and more strategical. This would be a really nice thing to see. More in-depth village and castle customizations, because I'm sure a lot of you want to build up your empire the way you want it. I'm sure you don't want it just to be a click of a button and then it does it for you. A lot of you want more control over this aspect, and hopefully Bannerlord can give you that. Customizable troops and banners. A lot of you have said this, and I think it's a really good point. Imagine going into battle with your troops displaying your insignia that you made or you chose on their breastplate. How cool would that be? Their shields displaying the banner that you spent a long time working towards and making yourself. I think this would be a really cool thing to add into single player, but also some people have said multiplayer. Now, obviously in multiplayer there are things to look out for, because knowing the Mount & Blade community, there is going to be some stuff that may offend a few people if you're allowed to make your own banners. That is something to watch out for, but it will definitely be a good addition to single player. Now, with single player, customizing troops would be a really nice thing. Can you choose what armor they wear? Can you choose how they look? That will be a really nice thing that we can see what the developers are going to do in Bannerlord. Now, we have seen that customizing weapons is a thing. You can rename them. You can choose the weapons to how you want it. You can balance it to your game style. That will be a really nice thing to see. What can we do with the troops and the banners in game? In-depth diplomacy. Now, in the last game footage, we have been shown a little bit of more in-depth diplomacy. You can go talk to people sieging your castle and you can try and persuade them to go away. You can give them fives, you can give them money, you can try and trade with them. And this is a really good showcase of what diplomacy will be coming in Bannerlord. Warband had very little diplomacy. You could wage war on people, you can make peace with people, and not much else was really apparent. A lot of mods have added more in-depth diplomacy, such as florist mods and things like that. There's even a diplomacy mod. And I think this is a really cool thing that can be added, and obviously since a lot of mods have added it in themselves, it is really something that you guys want to see. DLCs. Now, this one has been extremely requested. After the major success of the Napoleonic Wars DLCs, a lot of you have been speculating, will they make Napoleonic Wars DLC for Mount & Blade Bannerlord? And my thoughts are, I think they might, or at least they will almost definitely be a modding Napoleonic Wars. There will almost definitely be a mod for the Napoleonic Wars era. But what other DLCs will they bring out? A lot of people have said they'd like to see Roman DLCs, but there is so much things they can do. Obviously they teamed up with the Brighton Wilder team and brought out a Viking Conquest DLC, so total conversion DLCs are really not out of the question. What are your thoughts? What DLCs would you like to see? Leave it in the description, but I'm sure DLCs are going to be a massive part of Bannerlord, as Napoleonic Wars has really kept it alive and is still alive today. So leave your comments in the description. What DLCs would you like to see? Total conversion ones? Or maybe just adding things in like a blood and gore DLC? How cool would that be? Easier to use and more in-depth map editor. If any of you have been around the map making a modern scene in Mount & Blade Warband, you will know how to make a map. You have to sort a lot of things around in the files just to get the map editor. And then once you're in it, it is extremely complicated for a new person, and moving around and changing different aspects and different items in the game is extremely tricky to get in place. Putting walls that are exactly in line are a very tricky thing to do. So, will they make the map editor in Bannerlord easier to use? I really hope so. We have seen some footage of the map editor already, and it looks like it is a definite advancement on the Warband one. Let's hope it's easier to use for the more beginner players, and more in-depth, where changing weather effects and different little details on the ground and terrain would be a nice thing to see. So a map editor is definitely something that I would like to see, but is it something you would like to see? I think it would definitely be something that would really help modders, and that brings me on to the next one. Modding tools. Now, there have been a lot of mods for Mount & Blade Warband, and I think that is the main thing that has kept it alive. Different single player mods, such as the Flawless Expanded, which has kept true to the native one, but added in new armor, and new weapons, and new systems in general. It has added in a lot of graphics, there's been graphic overhauls, and there's been total conversions such as Bellum Imperii, taking the player into the Roman era. There's also been multiplayer mods such as Mount & Gladius, taking players back in time where they could fight as legionaries or the barbaric tribes. There's also been multiplayer mods such as Full Invasion 2, which is one of the most successful, fighting against waves and waves of bots. And of course, the Mountain Musket mod, which inspired the Napoleonic Wars DLC. Now, modding has been a massive part of Mount & Blade Warband, and I think the developers have realised this. But what we want to see are better modding tools. Will it be easier for anyone to start modding? There are a lot of people who are too scared to because it looks really complicated and they don't know what they have to do. But will they add in something that will show people how to mod and bring more people into it so more and more mods will get released? I think this will be a really cool thing to see. Now, they have said that the modders will be getting some more advanced tools, which is really helpful and nice. They said they'll even be getting tools that are really similar to what the developers used to make the game in the first place. This means we'll see more total conversion mods, and the mods will be more in depth in general. But what I'd really like to see is more simple to use, and more things that will help new people get into the modding scene, because I think that will add to the game and keep it going for even longer. Can you guess what number 1 is? I think many of you can. And this has probably been the most requested thing that Tellwars have ever had in any game ever. And this is women players in Mount & Blade Bannerlord. Now, in Warband, a lot of you know you mostly play, no, I'm joking, it's co-op mode. So yes, everyone has been asking for co-op mode, and Mount & Blade Bannerlord said they are thinking about it. There is not a yes, but there is not a no either. So it looks hopeful. They have said they are taking into account a lot of the people's requests, as they have said this is the most requested thing they have ever seen. Now, how would co-op mode work? Because a lot of you know, you go into towns and you do things in those towns, you sort out your cities, but how would that work if there's another person in the game? That is something that we have to find out, so leave your comments down below. How do you think it's going to work? Going into towns, going to cities, will they cut that out completely? Or will both players have to do that at the same time? I don't know. It seems like it's going to be a big stretch for the Tellwars team to get to work, but if they can, it will be amazing. So thank you guys for watching this video. If I missed anything out, remember to leave a comment. If you want to expand on the things that I said, leave a comment as well. How would the co-op mode work? What modding tools would you like to see? What different DLCs are you looking forward to? Leave them all in the comments. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed it, dislike it if you didn't, but stay subscribed to the channel for more Bannerlord content. But until then, I will see you in the next one.